This show is brought to you by adamandeve.com. If you go to adamandeve.com right now and enter GLORY, the code word GLORY, GLORY, at checkout, you'll get 50% off almost any item, a free sex swing, and free shipping.
Hello, boys. It's Hunter from Oklahoma. Again, not as drunk as normal, but you're welcome. I noticed you guys have some choice words about my home state, and I'm a little offended. And I am offended because you guys can do better. This state is a fucking shithole. It is 47th in education and 2nd in incarceration. And I'm literally fucking my sister right now. So, could step it up on the Oklahoma hate. That would be pretty cool. Glory hole cocksuckers.
Hey, just calling to let you know that you bitches were finally right about something. The Italian beef sandwich from Chicago is the most underrated sandwich ever. Philly cheese sandwich? Bullshit. Glory hole, motherfuckers.
Hey guys, this is Ryan from Baltimore. Love the show. I was just listening to your last episode in regards to going to Philly. I can't really refute any of the claims you made about the quality of a city that Philly is, with one exception. Cecil, if you ever make it out there, the Rocky statue is at the base of the Philadelphia Museum of Art. In that museum, they have an amazing, huge collection of medieval arms, armory, weapons, all of it, including this incredibly amazing suit of riveted ring mail, where each link in the ring mail is etched with the name of one of the ancestors of the guy who made it. It's incredible looking. So if you unfortunately have to go to that city, at least go check that out, because I think you'd find it cool. So later, guys. Glory hole.
Hey, Tom and Cecil. This is Dustin in Idaho, and I'm a dermatologist, and I can confirm that Idaho is the whitest state.
Be advised that this show is not for children, the faint of heart, or the easily offended. The explicit tag is there for a reason.
Recording live from Glory Hole Studios in Chicago, this is Cognitive Dissonance. Every episode we blast anyone who gets in our way. We bring critical thinking, skepticism, and irreverence to any topic that makes the news, makes it big, or makes us mad. It's skeptical, it's political, and there is no welcome mat. This is episode 415 of Cognitive Dissonance. This is the Hardy episode, right? Laurel. I got that mixed up. I didn't know.
You messed it up. There's a difference between the two. One's
or
skinny,
is this a Yanny episode? I don't know.
Well, here, let's see if we can do it.
Was Yanny that musician?
Yanny was a musician, right?
Yeah, did he played like the fucking cello or a symphony-related orchestra?
Yo-Yo Ma.
Well, they're all the same.
I think Yanni's like a sax player or something.
Okay, that's clearly Yanny.
All right, so let's go up the scale here.
All right.
You still got Yanny. That's Laurel for me now.
All day Laurel.
Laurel with no chance of Yanny.
Laurel.
Okay.
Yeah.
Laurel.
So
it's all day long Laurel on that end of the spectrum. It's all day long Yanny on the far right.
What I loved about this phenomenon this week, Tom, is that it got everybody to realize that our brains are made of garbage. Like everybody is just like, why does that work like that? And it's like, well, it's because you're made of garbage and all the subsequent parts of you are made
out of garbage.
We're all just like this hodgepodge of garbage.
See, that's funny because like what it made me realize when I saw that slider that you were just using is that it isn't until you skew far right that it changes the facts.
That's true. I guess that's true.
Because that recording is a recording of the word Laurel.
It is a recording of the word Laurel, but it's a shitty recording.
It's a shitty recording with lots of distortion.
And so what happens is some people, my wife in particular, only hears Yanny when that mid-range plays. Now, I'm sure I haven't had a chance to play this for her. I'm sure I can get, I'm sure she would hear Laurel just like everybody hears Laurel.
Well, have you just told her to hear Laurel?
Well, I told her
as your
last night,
husband.
and she was like, nope. And I was like, but you're wrong. And she's like, no, I'm right. It's Yanny. And there's a lot of people, though, who hear it.
Right.
And it's because of the way your ear is, hearing damage helps this along. I think hearing damage makes you hear Laurel more. Is that what it is?
Yeah. So Haley and I were doing a little bit of reading to try to figure out part of why this is the case. It's a shitty recording, like you mentioned.
Yeah.
So there's all kinds of noise and distortion and garbage mixed up in it. But as we get older and our hearing changes, and by changes, read here gets worse. We tune out those high frequencies, and by tuning them out, we just don't get to fucking hear them anymore.
Yeah.
And for a guy like me who spent, and you too, spent huge parts of our youth at concerts, listening to fucking crazy loud music. I grew up next to an airport.
Yeah.
I have no hope of hearing Yanny until it's fucking right in my ear.
Until they distort it enough for you to hear it. Yeah.
Right. But other folks who might have hearing that predisposes them to higher pitch frequencies, they're going to hear that Yanny.
Yeah.
And I do agree with your larger point, though, right? When you're joking we're made out of garbage, right? But we are untrustworthy machines.
Absolutely.
And it's funny that even our senses have biases.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Even our senses have biases toward I favor just hearing. We're in the same room hearing the same thing, and we walk away with different feelings and impressions and sometimes different words that have gone through our fucking skulls.
Yeah.
That's not nothing to remember about the human experience.
When I was a kid, and I want to play this clip here. When I was a kid, there's a song by Front 242 called Never Stop. I was into industrial when I was a kid. I used to love Front 242. I swear to you, when I heard this song when I was a kid, I would hear this guy say Kenosha.
Which is a city in Wisconsin.
Which is a city, if you don't know. Area. And there's literally no reason for a human being to ever say those words unless you're from Kenosha. And
hello, Wisconsin!
Instead, he's saying America. And I remember saying to my friends, I was like, is he saying Kenosha? And everybody's like, are you fucking crazy? But all I heard was Kenosha. So I want to play a little clip here real quick. That to me was Kenosha.
Dude, that so was America.
Kenosha. I know that's it's America now.
He may as well be saying bald eagle
100 times over. There's no way I can even hear Kenosha in that. But when I was a kid, that's all I heard. I couldn't hear America. I was like, what are you guys hearing America? I was like, where does America start?
Isn't that fucking frustrating? Because it's you're looking at people and you're like, I'm not fucking crazy. But they're like, yeah. You are, and your senses are a fucking unreliable thing because they have to go into your brain.
The last one I want to play for you guys is one that Tom and I found on Reddit right before here. I'm going to play it several times. It can be green needle, brainstorm, greenstorm, or brain needle.
Right.
So those are the four it can be. If you listen to this, I'm going to play it 4 times. Think of those words in that order. Start with brainstorm, then green needle, then brain needle, then green storm. And you can hear it each time differently. I think it's amazing.
That messes with me, man. That messes with me.
Amazing. It's amazing. All of these auditory.
It's an auditory illusion.
Yeah, it's an auditory illusion. Yeah. I think they're awesome. They're so cool. And it's what's great is that this week there was so many of them that came out because this Yanny Laurel thing was the first thing that everybody. I mean, I woke up in the morning and you know how I learned about this was somebody posted on Facebook yeah, it's Laurel. And I was like, what the fuck? What are you talking about? And I had to do a search for Laurel, and immediately it comes up.
Pops up.
Yeah, it comes up. But it's hilarious that it's on America's mind this week.
So stories from the Detroit News. Feds. Michigan pastor posed as teen to lure girls online. Former Port Huron pastor is facing federal prison charges. He enticed girls to engage in sex acts online basically went online, pretended to be somebody that he wasn't, and got people to send pictures and otherwise open themselves up to this guy. Again, this is a fucking pastor.
Yeah,
like this is a pastor engaging in this sort of shit.
I can't imagine somebody who wants to have conversations, like a text conversation with a kid. Like at one point he sends a message that says, "I'm really bummed out that we lost power. You are so very, very beautiful and sexy. When you be home tomorrow after you home from school." Like he even learned how to write him properly.
Right, yeah.
With like 4 exclamation points and a bunch of dots and shit.
He's a Michigan pastor.
So maybe he never learned.
It's entirely possible that this is, I mean, we've spent some time in Michigan.
Text speak is
right. This is it.
That's
the best thing. Can you imagine his sermons?
When you go to the card catalog at the library, under it's you are.
God.
Yeah, it says FBI agents learned that Jackie Douglas Woodburn's virtual interactions while probing a chat room based website that attracts adult men who pose as youths seeking to sexually exploit minor teenage girls and preteen girls. Gross.
Yeah. I also doesn't this feel like one thing I thought like doesn't this feel insanely like late 90s antiquated?
Right.
Where it's just like, I'm going to go into a chat room. It's like, all right, old man, enjoy your time in your chat room.
It's on my bulletin board.
Hold on a minute. Let me navigate over to GeoCities and see what's going on.
Going to make your site on CompuServe.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Does your modem still go?
What, would be, the thing that also occurred to me would be really funny is that like this guy's going on posing as a preteen boy. And on the other side, there's like some investigator posing as a preteen girl. And like, it's like, there's like no actual young people. And I actually wouldn't even be surprised at all if that's the case in a lot of these things, right? Because it wouldn't make him less guilty.
Right.
And it would still be a good way to find creeps. It's just, you're just finding creeps that weren't successful in creeping, right?
And if everybody knows it, clearly it says they're probing a chat room based website that attracts adult men who pose as youths.
Right.
Like clearly people know that there's like these 60 plus, what was he, 69 or 68-year-old guy or something like that?
I kind of hope he's 69 just for posterity's sake.
63?
Damn it.
63-year-old guy who's there trolling for, I mean, if he knows about it, every investigator knows about it.
Oh,
right?
Absolutely. Right. Yeah.
And he doesn't even cover up his IP. That's how they find him, his IP address and internet provider. Like, what is this internet you have? Can they find me on the internet? I used an incognito browser.
That makes me invisible because there's sunglasses on the icon guy. And that means I can do whatever I want.
You can wank all you like.
I Googled deep web, and that's
it says he has 70,000 Skype chat messages and others. And I'm like, oh my God, like that sounds like the prison sentence to me.
That's too much work to jerk off.
70,000 chats on Skype. Oh gosh. We find out that a lot of these religious people are just so fucking closeted creepy.
Yeah.
All the time.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think it is about the religion that lures them to that? Is it because you think they like the power that it gives them with the, when they're pastors and
I think
stuff?
there's a couple of things. I think there's probably the case that there are some people who are creeps, right? That are drawn to positions of social power.
Yeah.
Like being a pastor, like being, because like whether they recognize it consciously or not, they've got to see the opportunity embedded in all of that, right? Like it's fucking the land of opportunity if you're a creep.
So many people don't want to talk about it. You can hide it under the
But
bed,
also like people are going to trust you. They're going to come to you as a confidant. Sure. They're going to give you all kinds of social and emotional power over them and their families.
You'll have plenty of free time with kids if you want it.
Right.
Yeah.
But even if it's not kids, even if these creeps, because a lot of these, whatever your flavor of awful and creepdom is, I think that there is something in these jobs that is attractive, consciously or subconsciously. I don't know, but I think it's attractive. And I also think like the religion itself with its crazy fucking hangups around sex and sexuality, like I don't think it can create an environment that is going to build healthy ideas around sex and sexuality.
No matter what you do, it's not healthy.
It's all this like weird prescriptions about where you can put your dick and like what angle it goes in at and like all the rest of this nonsense that they've got. Like you have no hope of thinking about sex and feeling about sex and coming of age around sex in like a really healthy way.
Yeah.
So you're like, I think it like builds creeps and then it hides creeps. It does both.
Our son Shlomo is working on a kibbutz in Haifa. We're schlepping him some kreplach.
They're Jewish, all right.
All right. This story's from the New York Post. These taxpayer-funded Jewish schools are dooming young men to poverty. So this is a story about, the ultra-Orthodox communities in Jewish neighborhoods that because they control the entire neighborhood, they effectively control most of the civic resources within that neighborhood, including the schools.
Yeah.
And so these kids, they fund the schools. They're on the boards for these schools. They are in control of every aspect of those kids' lives, start to finish. And when I was reading this story, one thing that occurred to me is like, for most people in a religious setting, in most communities, you're going to go to school, you're going to be exposed to other people, other ideas. It is, if you are not hardcore, whatever it is your parents are, it is very likely going to be a place where you can get some respite from that bullshit.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
But in these ultra-Orthodox Jewish communities, they control everything, stem to stern. They're fucking vertically integrated communities, top to bottom. So like these kids, they go to these schools and they are indoctrinated still. They live in these enclaves, these bubbles of non-reality. And they are not prepared for the world around
not
them.
at all.
They are not well educated coming out of these.
Yeah.
They are doomed to a life of, and I think it's intentional, of you still live here.
Yeah.
The only way that you will not just completely descend into poverty and chaos is to stay in our little enclave. Because as soon as you walk away from it, you're a fucking Amish kid on Rumspringa.
What's crazy is they talk in this article about a couple of different kids that grew up in this lifestyle, and their parents were both very successful. One of them was a doctor, went to Harvard, really successful guy.
Right.
And he takes him to this tiny little Jewish Orthodox neighborhood, and they grow up not even knowing about science.
Yeah.
And he's lamenting. He's like, well, what the fuck? Like, I didn't even know how to do times tables until I was 23 because they didn't teach that. They taught basically what's in the Torah, like what's in the Talmud, what's in the Torah. You learn about all the stuff that, that the Jewish faith thinks is important, but none of the stuff and anything that contradicts it, that doesn't get taught. And so they're stuck in these, like you said, like total, they're basically these like little faith schools that they have to go to, yeshivas, they call them, I guess. Is that what they call them?
Yeah.
Yeshivas? Where they have to go to these schools and they just spend their entire life there learning about the only things that they think are important. And it doesn't have anything to do with the outside world. They get stuck there.
Well, all they want to train kids to do, they want to train the boys to grow up to be rabbis.
Yeah, it says roughly 5% of them succeed. The other 95% are doomed to a life of struggle and poverty.
Yeah.
So 95% of it. And it said that in the ultra-Orthodox communities are disproportionately dependent on government handouts. According to a recent 24/7 Wall Street report, the Hasidic village of New Square in Rockland County is the poorest in the state with a 70% poverty rate.
That's fucking crazy.
And it's because they like, we talk about how bad some inner city schools are where kids don't get a chance to learn there. And, we talk about how bad it is in some ways to, have your property taxes fund those schools because, basically, it allows, a perpetual cycle of, the richest schools are where the richest homes are. And that's where the best teachers are. And that's where the most funding is. And that's where the smartest kids are because they get all the attention that they ever want. Yeah. And the poor neighborhoods don't get any of that. They get, teachers who have to beg, borrow, and steal to get pencils in their class.
Right.
And so you have this disparity. And what you have here is, in a crazy way, sort of this forced disparity. It's like they probably could easily teach and have the resources to teach at a very high level, and they just don't.
Yeah, and I think that that's an important point because, like, they don't do it because this creates a cycle of dependency, right? So this is what I would build if I were in their shoes, right? Like if I wanted to make sure that young people didn't leave my crazy isolationist community. Well, this is a cult.
Yeah.
Like this has all the earmarks and hallmarks of a cult, right?
Yeah.
You create a dependency on the larger community and culture that you cannot break out of. You lack the resources emotionally and intellectually and otherwise, and to move into the larger world. And so you're stuck. These kids are just fucking stuck.
Yeah. It said in April, a senator, a Democrat from Brooklyn, refused to sign off on a state budget unless yeshivas, which accept millions of dollars in government funding, were given more autonomy over curricula.
That's insane.
Isn't that crazy? That somebody like,
more autonomy,
who's saying that they need to shelter people even more.
Right. Yeah. We want to make sure that, you would think that you'd run into a separation of church and state issue.
Yeah. At a certain point, especially, it's crazy that they're getting millions of dollars in government funding anyway, let alone they're now dictating how they want to use that.
It makes you wonder though, like who has standing to make that claim?
Yeah.
If you have a separation of church and state problem, which is like, did you see the documentary about the Rajneesh? It's kind of Wild Wild Country.
I have not seen it yet. Everybody's saying it's amazing.
So it's really good.
Yeah.
I watched 3/4 of it. Then I got bored. As soon as the Rajneesh started behaving badly, I was like, man, I don't care about you and what happens next. But in the beginning, the first 2/3, 3/4 of the story is really fascinating and interesting. And they run into a similar issue, right? So I'll make this brief, but they tried to create a community that is isolated from the rest of, the rest of the world. It's their own community. And they will have their own schools, their own police department, and their own fire department and all of this. And they're taking care of themselves, and they're very self-sufficient in that regard. And it kind of spooks the locals. And the locals go after them. And one of the ways they go after them is they say, this violates, you're creating a town charter, and a government violates separation of church and state because the entire town is basically a church.
Yeah.
How is that different than the ultra-Orthodox neighborhoods in New York that are completely run top to bottom?
Sure.
It's the same fucking thing.
Yeah.
It's just like, let's be honest. We're more comfortable with this because it's a bunch of white Jewish people, and we've all decided that
that's an okay religion.
That's fine.
Yeah.
That's one of the ones that we aren't freaked out by.
No, you wouldn't let Muslims
absolutely
do this.
right.
Yeah.
You wouldn't let anybody with brown skin do this.
Yeah.
Let's just call it like anybody with brown skin. No, anybody on a fringe. I don't know. Would you let a Mormon do this?
You would freak out if it was a Sikh.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If it was a
That's
Sikh
what I mean.
community, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you're
Hindus, they
right.
wouldn't let you do this because we're kind of afraid of them, even though they're peaceful. Like the Jains, we wouldn't let do this. We wouldn't let lots of people with brown skin do this because we just aren't smart enough to differentiate amongst the religions of the brown folks, right? We're all scared of all of them. It's just easier to be afraid of anyone that gets a good tan. So it's just
jealousy.
Right. The Italians, the Greeks, like whatever. Just anybody that can go to a tanning booth.
Yeah.
This whole idea that the environment is everything. They worship the environment, and it's a power base. And we're talking about millions and millions of money being spent in the political arena.
Wayne Allen Root blames deaths in Tesla crash on environmentalism.
Is this from his show, The War Report, War Talk or something? I don't know.
I test drove a Tesla, and I didn't want it, and I didn't buy it. Well, today's a big story in the news. The National Transportation Safety Board is investigating. A Tesla crashes into a wall in Florida and kills 2 Florida high school seniors, 2 great-looking young men.
I'm just saying, that's a waste. That's a waste of hot man flesh. I didn't even get to suck their dicks before that Tesla crashed into them. In other news, all cars sometimes crash.
No kidding, right?
Right?
Life in front of them. My God. Handsome, young, smart young men. Probably
with hot, oiled bodies.
Young twice.
Like
handsome, young, smart, young.
Good looking, handsome,
good looking,
young,
handsome, young.
Oiled beef magnets.
Did I accentuate the young yet? Did I say that? Let me say it twice.
Dating beautiful girls, headed to college.
What is it? He is imagining their whole romantic life.
Jesus.
Probably maybe. I mean, it's like 2018. He's probably putting it in her butt a little bit.
Uncle Wade, I don't want to tell you about my date.
Life is good. Probably from rich families. You don't drive a Tesla at the age of 18 unless you have a rich mommy and daddy. So these guys had everything in the world to live for, and they're dead. Their car exploded on impact, and they burned to death in the Tesla. I don't trust Teslas. I don't trust electric batteries.
What kind of batteries does he trust, if not electric ones?
I don't know, Tom. Is he saying lithium ion? He doesn't trust lithium ion batteries?
I think he doesn't trust electric powered things.
Okay.
And that makes me laugh as he records this and broadcasts it on the internet. Probably as he holds that cell phone with a battery in it on his hand. Why would he not trust a Tesla? Like,
I will say this.
Cars crash and people die in car crashes.
Absolutely.
It's not even anything worth saying.
Absolutely. I will say this, that those batteries do explode violently. They are lithium-ion batteries do explode.
Oh, yeah. L-ion.
Very violently. I watched a Nova on batteries, and they showed like different batteries and stuff. And there's a guy who just created a battery that runs like a little differently than other batteries, especially lithium-ion batteries, and it has like the basically same power structure, but you can cut it and it still runs. Like,
that's awesome.
Cut it, and
that's just more stable.
Yeah, it's way more stable.
Oh, that's awesome.
And he's got it to run off of. He's got a bunch of these. So I'm thinking they're going to probably start changing the way in which we make these batteries. Because you watch any video on the internet of one of those fucking things, and everybody carries them, right? Everybody carries them in their pocket. And these things
every now and again they go bad and
violently explode. Like they are very they're explosive. I mean, you puncture one of these things and they blow up.
Yeah.
So but turns out if you do that to a gas tank,
that's what I was gonna say. Is that the alternative? Is to fill your car full of gasoline,
with flammable liquid, and scoot around with flammable liquid in there.
Sometimes those catch on fire. It's just like
there's no way to get the energy in the car to make it go forward unless you put the energy in the car, and the energy almost always has a way in which to go boom.
Well, that's the whole fucking point, right? Like that's how energy storage works in general. Is like you have a thing. That thing is valuable because it can be converted relatively easy from a thing that isn't energy into a thing which releases a lot of energy.
Exactly.
Whether it be fossil fuels in the form of gasoline or whatever, whether it's a fucking battery, whatever it is, like the fucking quality that we appreciate most about these fuels is that
volatile.
Follow me here, they're fuel.
Yeah, it's volatile.
Sometimes they're fuel for fire because it's the most common use of fuel. The fuck?
And I don't think we need electric batteries. It's all nonsense.
What kind of battery would you use if not an electric battery?
We need electric.
What would it produce?
Our world runs on electricity, you fool.
There's no battery that's not electric. What would it produce? Ham? Like, it's just a ham battery?
It's kept slices of bread keep coming out.
What would it produce?
It's a perpetual bread machine.
Oh, I got this battery. Oh, okay. It's a AA battery, and out of it comes... what the fuck?
A perpetual bread machine just has that little thing in the bottom. The bread machine just keeps spinning and spinning.
I want to need something so bad.
This dough's been spinning for days.
It's like glue.
It's the toughest muffin you've ever been into in your life. You lose a tooth, it's like...
If you can get it down, it's actually a negative calorie muffin. It's just
the same reason I saw the study the other day. I don't know if I reported it on this show, but I did on my national radio show. And I mentioned that there was a study out, brand new study, and it said people who believe in, who don't believe, who are skeptics of climate change, which is me, actually are much better for the environment than people who are radical, pro-climate change believers.
That doesn't make any sense to me at all.
Cannot possibly be true.
Yeah.
Like somebody who votes, just think about the voting. Don't even think about the things you do as a person except for what you vote for. When you vote for the people that dismantle the EPA,
right.
You're never selling me.
Yeah, never.
Never are you going to sell me that guy who dismantled the EPA is doing more to protect the environment than, and hear me to the finish line, the EPA.
Yeah. You know, it's funny. When you mentioned voting, I started thinking of single issue voters. And the first thing that thought in my head is like, that's like reading a study and be like, the people who all go out and march against abortion, they have more abortions than anybody. It's like, no, I'm
not convinced.
I mean, I'm not convinced that they don't have any abortions.
I'm not convinced that they don't even have less. Like they probably have them at the same rate because all that shit sounds great when it's not you.
When it's not you.
Right?
Right.
Yeah.
But it's like, but they're like, they make up 90% of the aborted. You know? It's like, just like, I don't know that's true. Yeah.
They're the ones who create pollution. They're the ones who ruin the environment. They're so busy being nanny state control freaks.
How could it ruin the environment if you don't believe these things ruin the environment?
Right? Yeah, right. You already said, I don't believe in it.
I can't circle this.
Yeah. And like you said, nanny state, like when you start ripping off stuff, be like, you know what? We don't need clean water.
Yeah. Remember when we didn't have the Clean Air Act and in LA, you couldn't see LA? Now you can see LA.
Did you see this week that there's a source of one of those banned chemicals in the world So one of the chemicals that ruins our ozone layer, it's like a banned chemical.
Okay.
That basically like, I think the Montreal Accords or something like a while ago said, don't do this anymore. And the whole world was like, yep, cool story.
Yeah,
no,
we'd like an ozone layer.
We're not going to do that. Like, I guess like there's been just like this wild release of that recently.
What? No. Trichloro CFC11.
Yeah. Trichlorofluoromethane.
Good job.
I guess. I don't know. But it's CFC11 and but it's not declining as quickly as it should be, and they suspect that someone over Asia is releasing it. It appears that the emissions of CFC11 have increased in recent years, which is quite a surprise given the fact that the production has been phased out.
Wow.
So, yeah.
That's good news.
I think
probably climate change.
Yeah, I actually think Wayne Allen Root uses it for his hairspray.
Trying to get government to control our lives and make us live worse lives, lower quality lives. They themselves don't listen to the rules.
I strongly suspect nobody lives a lower quality life than Wayne Allen Root. Because every morning that guy wakes up and he's Wayne Allen Root.
What do you think the lower quality life is if you're environmental? Like, what is the lower quality that I can't just take a jet by myself or think, something?
No, I can answer that. I think like he would say that our cars cost more because they have emissions control standards. So it's less money in our pocket to do other things. Our gas probably costs more because it's full of additives that reduce emissions.
Don't have lead in it or whatever anymore.
Right. Yeah. No, but that's true. Like, I think that's the heart of his suggestions is that we are paying more for everyday items because there are carbon controls and other environmental factors which play into that. That's money we spend. We don't have to. So that's money in our pocket. We can't give to strippers. I don't really know. Like, I'm not sure
that I can't buy hairspray with and
spray into a hard dome helmet.
Release an entire can of hairspray every morning. It's my wake up ritual. I have my coffee. I release it in the atmosphere, an entire can of hairspray, and then I break the Freon can open every day.
I actually just pour a can of Freon out for my homies.
Yeah, I just take one refrigerator and push it over my balcony every morning. I go through more refrigerators that way.
It's important that your hair be bulletproof. Yeah. Like, it really should be an armor that you wear, like a second skull.
No, I'm saying he just releases an entire can into the universe and then goes back and sprays his hair. Yeah.
We, the people who are skeptics of climate change, treat the environment better.
You're deniers. You're not skeptics. There's a difference. Yeah. A denier looks at science and says, nah, I'll pass.
Yeah.
That's a denier. That's what you are. It's a very big difference between you and a skeptic. In fact, never use that word again, Wayne.
Someone should take that word. Yeah. The nanny state should take that word away. We should tax that word out of him.
We should take that word away.
You're not allowed to use that word anymore.
That's our word.
That's like the N word. That's like the word. That's it. You don't get that word.
That's our word.
We get to use that word.
And I don't want an electric car. I have no interest in an electric car. And those kids are dead.
He's reading off his iPhone.
They might be dead is because they fell for that crap. That's
the other reason might be that they crashed their car into something. Like, maybe the responsibility, you know, I love that these guys, like, they love nothing more than personal responsibility.
Absolutely.
Personal responsibility,
scream it all day, all night.
You crashed your car into a wall.
Yeah.
The wall didn't jump out and bite you.
Well, and you know how fast those Teslas are, right?
Right.
And the reason why is because they have no, like, the acceleration on a...
They get instant torque.
Instant torque instead of... The acceleration on a gas car takes a lot longer to start moving than an electric one. It's immediate. And, like, that's a dangerous car if you don't know how to drive it.
Oh, you know, it's funny because I just watched... It's funny you mentioned... I just watched a Top Gear clip the other day of a supercar, like the world's first electric supercar. And they put it up against its V8 gas cousin. They drag raced them.
Yeah.
The supercar, the electric version, weighed 1,000 more pounds than the other car and had like 1 or 2 less horsepower. And it beat the other car.
Yeah.
It beat the other car in a drag race. It's just so fast.
Yeah.
You could put 2 18-year-old kids in a car like that, like you were saying.
Yeah.
You put 2 18-year-old kids, though, in my car.
Yeah. It could be any car. That's what we talked about.
Yeah.
It can be any car. I had a kid. I'm sure you had kids in your school that died.
Yeah.
I had kids in my school that crashed in cars. And every year they put out in the prom, they put out the broken car on our lawn every year for prom. I'm sure that's a national thing that happens. Every year there was or it was either homecoming or prom, or it was both, where the fire department brought over this old wreck that showed that we had to cut some kids out of there and their heads were gone or whatever. You know, like, and they got that story. It's like, and then one day I had to come up on an accident scene. And they come in and they do a talk in your fucking assembly and tell you don't drink and drive and don't be an asshole and don't drive like a schmuck. You know, when you're a kid, that happened. I had so many people drive like assholes. I told a story on the air once about me jumping into a fucking pond. You know, like when you're a kid, you just drive like an asshole. And I want to point out the most important thing is that the autopilot wasn't on. Tesla's reported back the autopilot. It's not like the thing was just like, fuck, I am robot, and like ran into a fucking wall.
Fuck these kids. Life's not worth living, you spoiled shit.
The kids just like drove the car bad and broke it.
Crashed. Yeah. And that's a thing, like we were saying, like that's just a thing 18-year-old boys do.
Absolutely.
Like when I was an 18-year-old boy, my best friend had a truck. He had a Chevy Blazer.
Yeah.
And we used to play a game. Do you remember 88th Avenue? It was a stretch of road that was perfectly straight that stretched between two other roads. Doesn't matter.
Sure,
It was the middle of the H, right? And it was maybe 1.5 miles, 2 miles long, right in the middle of a cornfield, and it was just arrow straight.
Sure.
Arrow straight. And the game me and my best friend used to play, and I was 17, he was 18. Is he would stomp the accelerator, turn off the lights, and close his eyes. And we'd see who had the balls. Because like if I was like, okay, he would open his eyes and turn the lights on. And he would stomp the accelerator in this fucking Chevy
So you'd be
Blazer.
going 100 miles an hour or something.
Without even looking where we were going.
Yeah.
And like what happened a number of times is like he'd open his eyes and he would not have time to stop before crossing the other road.
God.
And so we'd race over that road. Thank God we didn't hit anything and nobody hit us.
Easily.
We'd jump this curb and drive into a cemetery at 100 miles an hour and just like try not to die.
Sure.
And we did this a lot.
Yeah.
We did this like more times than I have fingers and toes.
Sure.
We were fucking idiots.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a place called High Road in Romeoville, Lamont area. It runs through, maybe it's Lockport. I don't know. It's one of those cities over there. And it was a back road. And I remember my brother, when I was a kid, used to go down there and it had one of those hills that feels like you're dropping.
Yeah.
It's one of those hills that you jump.
Yeah.
And then the car falls at terminal velocity.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like whatever that effect is, it's basically
it puts the belly in your throat.
It feels like you're on a roller coaster. And my brother used to go 80 miles an hour down that thing all the time. And I remember being in the car and like you'd hit your head.
Yeah.
You didn't, back then there was no seatbelt law for the back seat. So you'd hit your head and bounce around and be like, oh.
I know.
And I watched videos of people that watched a video recently. I want to say it was on Reddit or something. Somebody like was jumping and it's a big long slope of a hill. So they jump and then they slide down this hill and they actually drift. You could see them. They're not touching the ground. They're just drifting down this hill and the car starts to turn a little and then it catches and it goes forward. And everybody commenting was just like, yeah, I did so much stupid shit when I was a kid. Right. I would, as a 25 or 30-year-old, I would never consider doing that. But as a young 18-year-old, your brain just isn't like ready for like living yet.
Your brain is not ready to be in charge of a car.
Yeah, your brain is not ready to be in charge. That's exactly it. And that's what it, look, I'm not blaming it on the kids. Maybe it was an accident. I'm sure I have no idea. But it's not what I want to say for sure is
it's not battery's fault.
It's not fucking Danger Will Robinson. Now we're going into a wall. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar.
This story from the New York Times. Indonesia church bombings carried out by family with children in tow.
You know, the family that slays together.
Well, and they knew it was the kids because they found the toes. Yeah. So that's the only... They're like, oh, it's a sweet little toe-headed boy. Oh, no, it's not toe-headed. It's just a toe embedded in the kid's head. From
the mom's like, don't forget your nail bomb lunch box. You got to take that to school, and no texting unless it's your sister to blow her up. No texting.
Mom, I had pressure cookers for breakfast.
Just walking to school, fucking nuclear bomb on your back. This thing is heavy. Go to school.
Everybody calls me fat boy or whatever. Who's fat now?
Oh gosh, it's insane. Well, this is clearly when you look at this and you see that a family did this, you cannot look to anything but religion.
Nothing else could inspire a family to kill themselves in multiple steps.
Yeah, right.
Like it's like this thing is crazy. It's not like they all showed up and were like, They didn't Toy Story 3 this thing. They were all joining hands going into the furnace.
It's like a sad Woody.
Most of my Woodies are sad.
That's my sex life. Yeah.
Oh God. But like there's a suicide bomber. There's like 2 on motorcycles, like an 8-year-old kid, like behind.
It's like a circus act, for Christ's sake.
I know. It's like the Aristocrats.
Jesus
it's just like,
Christ.
okay.
Okay. So 2 motorcycles walk into a bar. They're bombs. Hear me out. Hear me out. No, I'm done. That's it.
It's fucking crazy. Like one of the little kids lives. Like there's an 8-year-old girl, I think, that lives through all this horror. I don't know what that word means, to live after your family has blown themselves up and tried to murder you. Because I do want to be clear. The kids that are involved, they're not suicide bombers.
Absolutely not. Absolutely
They're
not.
murdered by their parents.
Yeah, they're murdered and they're
murdered by an ideology.
Absolutely. And they probably did not know anything that was going on, because I think that would be a hard sell.
Yeah, I've got kids in my house that are 4, 7, 11, and 11.
Yeah.
I can't get most of them to eat a broccoli.
Yeah.
Like I can't get most of them to eat a food that isn't covered in sugar.
Yeah. What they did was they put a fucking bomb on their back and then they put a fucking stick with a Happy Meal on it. But seriously, they had to coax them in some way. They're not like, okay, so now we're going to kill ourselves for Allah. You know what I mean?
They had to.
I have a feeling like that's a hard sell for anybody. So
but what is possible is that they could have been indoctrinated into a hardline worldview.
Absolutely possible.
For the entirety of their being.
Yeah.
You know, the Islamic State, of course, took credit for this thing.
Yeah.
And they describe this as another martyrdom operation, right? Like, so these are, and that's the problem with this concept, right? There are like that idea of being a martyr.
Yeah.
Martyrdom only works if I get to, in some way, see, take advantage of, engage in the fruits of my labors. So as an atheist, I can never be a martyr, right? There are almost no causes that I would give up my own life for, because the cause, if I'm dead, I don't get to find out if the cause even succeeded.
Sure.
The goal of the cause, I'm no longer a part of. Like there is a selfish part of me that's like, well, no, I mean, I'd like to see that through another way, please. Like dying for something doesn't make sense unless you think that you then get to go watch it on TV later. In heaven, right?
Yeah.
It's so there is a part of this whole concept of an afterlife, of martyrdom, of rewards and punishments, that whole thing. It's all that can feed this kind of behavior. This behavior can't exist without it.
Absolutely. And I would argue that you would have to be, if you're going to be a martyr, I think you've got to make that conscious choice too. And it feels like, a kid, this kid isn't a martyr. Right. This kid was murdered. There's a difference, right? There's a huge difference between that. And to sing this, the kid's praises and be like, oh, he's a martyr. No, you're a fucking asshole who taught him some garbage, taught his parents some garbage, and they either killed him or they taught the same garbage to this kid, and the kid wound up dying too.
Also, family fun night just got fucked up.
Family game night gets it. I will tell this, it's contentious. Playing Monopoly, people get mad. You know what I mean? You might blow up the house.
This is what happens when you play Exploding Kittens and take it too seriously. It's just a game, guys.
Absolutely.
Well, you're what Grammy Hall would call a real Jew.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, she hates Jews. She thinks that they just make money. But let me tell you, she's the one. And is she ever? I'm telling you.
Jesus Christ.
I don't even know, man.
What the fuck, dude?
I don't even know.
What the fuck?
I'm again, we're living in a fucking bizarro universe.
Bizarro universe.
It's from the New York Times. Robert Jeffress, pastor who said Jews are going to hell,
Jesus Christ,
led prayer at Jerusalem embassy.
Yeah.
I can't even with this shit right now. First of all, there's a fucking embassy in Jerusalem.
Right.
Hey, that's gone real well.
Yeah.
I guess I sort of feel like everybody saw this coming. Nobody on the left or even many people in the center and some people on the right knew that moving the U.S. embassy to Jerusalem, that when that moment came, that was not going to go over well.
No, I don't think anybody didn't think that there was going to be some pushback. I think that everybody understood there was going to be pushback. And I think that there's in a lot of ways, I think some of the Christians really craved that pushback because that pushback is the thing that
they need it for their apocalypse,
they need that for their end times. They need that pushback and that unrest for their end times. So that has to happen. So I understand and I get that. I recognize that. I just don't know, like, what I don't want to do is say that, this is the only thing, because that state has been fucked up and crazy.
Oh, for sure.
For a long time.
For
like
sure.
that fucking relationship between Palestine and Israel has been fucking shitty and garbage
70 years.
Forever.
Yeah, right.
So, and this is not the first time that there's been bloodshed there. This is not the first time that people die.
There's bloodshed constantly.
There's bloodshed all the time. People blow themselves up. And there's also, people getting shot when they're protesting. They do this to a bunch of people all the time. What's crazy is this guy is the guy who gives this speech, and he's just fucking super racist all the time. Yeah, and he's giving the speech there, and he's like, one of his quotes, quote, "You can't be saved being a Jew."
Okay.
Unquote.
All right. That sounds bad. But what about if you said that in Jerusalem?
Yeah. His other quote
would that sound better?
His other quote is, "Islam is wrong. It's heresy. It's heresy from the pit of hell." And then he said, "Mormonism is wrong. It's heresy from the pit of hell." He added, "Judaism. You can't be saved being a Jew." You know who said that, by the way? The three greatest Jews in the New Testament. Peter,
gotta love them Jews.
And Jesus Christ.
Maybe not.
Were they all saved? I wonder. That's crazy.
I thought it was Peter, Paul, and Mary. I thought
no,
I
different.
got that.
No, Jesus Christ is the backup singer. Very different. He changed his hair when he got on stage. He has that tambourine in the toga. The thing about the tambourine, the best part about the tambourine is his hand, because it's got the hole in it.
Oh, yeah, it makes a nice sound.
It's a nice
very
sound.
Unique.
Very
unique.
Absolutely.
That's how he sell
he can actually put an elastic band in there and bang it around like one of those balls. You know, the paddle ball?
Yeah.
He can like hit the tambourine that way.
See, and that's good because he usually he's an expert at ball in the cup.
Yeah.
Like he's like
hole, or ball in the hole. Yeah.
World
it's
champion.
Hole in one every time.
He just puts a silo cup in that thing.
It's more holes in one than Kim Jong-un.
That's impossible. That's 18 consecutive holes in one is pretty good.
He hit a hole. I thought he covered 2 holes in one. That's what we should say. That's what we should say, is that it hits the cup and then it bounced out of that cup and flew into the other one.
Well, the feet are 2 holes. Because
a hole in one, people can do that, Kim.
Yeah.
Okay? Or or whatever you go by.
Jong,
whatever it is you go by, fat man. Here's the thing. Just say like you dunked from the half court line.
Right.
Like, let's make up some shit, dude.
It would be great if it was one stroke.
Yeah. 18 holes.
It just, he skipped it.
It's like a Rube Goldberg.
Could skip this rock 12 times.
Boot that kicks a fucking squirrel that carries it to the next hole. Whatever it is. But he gets it all. This guy, though, constantly, this is, throughout this entire article, is just him just being anti-Semitic. And then they sent him to give the fucking speech.
What are they seriously, it's like they vet him for the worst possible person. It's
exactly.
I'm watching.
They should have sent David Duke.
They should have sent Trump.
Yeah. Richard Spencer. Whoever.
They should have fucking dug up Hitler's corpse.
Marionetted it out there. His bones are giving
Welcome to the embassy.
See, Kyle.
The point is that we've got to rewrite the federal government. Now, this is not going to happen overnight. It took 130 years to bring us to where we are today. It could probably take 50 years to turn it around. But if we stand on the Constitution, then everything else comes together.
This is that South African guy.
So this story's from Right Wing Watch. Rodney Howard-Browne. It would be just great to see government leaders and SCOTUS justices executed for treason via firing squad.
All right, he's on another show here. It's not his show. He's on a different show. He's on a network, Christian television network's The Good Life program, and he's visiting with them with his brand new book, evidently, a book called The Killing of Uncle Sam, The Demise of the United States.
I just want to point out this man has preyed on Donald Trump. He has laid his hands, this man, and we're going to hear, has laid his hands on our sitting president and prayed over him.
And he was not paid $130,000.
That is
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. We don't know.
Maybe.
We don't know. Maybe
Let's ask Michael Cohen.
Maybe it's hush hush.
Based on this book, there should be military tribunals taking place right now, and people should be arrested for high treason that's been committed at the highest levels of government, even all the way to the Supreme Court.
Well, isn't there going to be?
Can that guy get older?
He's just like looking around like, my grandson promised me a tribunal.
The answer is no. He can't get any older. He's probably dead as we say.
That is the maximum age of a human being.
You have to be this old to live this life. He's so old, though.
If you were dead, you'd be you by now.
I love that he's just like, well, will they happen soon or no? What's happening?
I can't wait very long.
Jello? The nurse said there'd be Jello.
Would you chew my Salisbury steaks for me and
just dribble it in my mouth? He's like a bird. He's got his mouth open.
Tribunals?
Well, that would be the ultimate.
Well, we do know that one of the Lord's prophets have already said, and he is standing by his word, that the Lord showed him there are going to be tribunals coming.
Well, personally, I think a firing squad would just be great.
Oh, yeah. We love a good firing squad.
What?
Oh, no, Cecil. You got to have a good firing. No, why are you getting all upset?
Wait, what?
A good old-fashioned firing squad.
What?
Like you do. Remember the last firing squadding we did? No? Yeah, I don't think anybody does.
Traitor in like the 40s.
I don't think anybody remembers that anymore.
Although probably not, actually. I think that they were still using firing squads to kill people up until they changed it to like 100% hanging and electricity or something. They were still hanging people for a while, too.
I think firing squad's still an option in one state.
Oh, wow.
I think.
Would you go firing squad?
I would go firing squad. Would you? If you're going to fucking kill me, I want you to have to kill me. I don't want you to put a fucking needle in my arm and feel good about yourself later.
I wouldn't want to do hanging. Hanging is one I wouldn't want to do.
No, hanging, I'll pass on that.
I don't know that I like the dead by serum or whatever.
The lethal injection?
I'm not crazy about
No, they don't
that
do
either.
a very good job of it either. They give you like
suffocate and
they
sucks.
should just do it the way they do the dog and cat.
Give them like overdose of morphine or whatever.
Here's a shit ton of fucking recreational barbiturates.
Yeah, and they just fucking die instantly.
Did you read the story about the scientist from Australia who had to go to the Netherlands? He's 104 years old. And he's just like, I just want to be done with this.
Yeah, and he said, like, don't do anything with my body. I don't want anything done with my body.
I didn't hear that.
I thought that's what I read.
Don't do anything. Just leave it here.
Fucking don't do that. Any of that.
Just
stuff.
put it in a corner.
It's like, don't do any of that stuff you do. I don't need to do any of that stuff. I'm just a husk. Just the brain is gone. I'm done. Yeah.
It's a shame that somebody has to travel all the way from. And I read a bunch of people like comments and like counter article. There's not a single good argument against the ability to do that.
I don't know what that is.
Like
it's
none. Just none at all.
I want to go back. I want to circle back for a second before we get off something that I'm actually interested in, which is assisted suicide. To somebody saying firing squads.
Mm-hmm.
You remember every third week, Jim Baker saying they want to kill him. They want to kill Trump. They want to kill Trump. And I've never heard anybody say that. I've never heard, except for unless they're crazy people or whatever.
Right. Nobody's advocating for
there's
for
nobody.
his murder.
There's nobody who's like, oh, you got to murder him or whatever.
Execution.
Those are only stupid people who are going to get investigated. That's all it is, right? The people who who dislike him the most, I think the worst anybody expects on him is like that he's going to die in office or something. Right. Like that's what
from
they
his
think,
poor health.
From his poor health.
Right.
Shit. But like, what I want is for him to either, what I want for Trump is to, lose in 2020 or, somehow vacates the office before then, whether that's impeachment or whatever.
Right.
But, I want to see him lose in 2020. That's what I want. That's the future I hope for him.
Sure.
Is for him to lose. So that bullshit projecting that they're doing, like they want to kill him. They just want to kill him. All we want to do is just talk about how shit he is. That's all we want to do. I don't want to kill him. I don't care about it. But these people will say things like this, like, why firing squad would be a good thing.
Oh, I don't agree that we should kill him.
I mean, literally, this is what he's been talking about. It's not coming from the other side. It's coming from your side, man.
The call was coming from inside the house.
It's coming from inside the Bible.
Well, that's because that book is full of fucking violent retribution, right?
Yeah.
Like their book is nothing but an excuse to create or to foment violence against whoever your enemy happens to be.
Yeah.
That's it.
Put them all there, stick them up against the wall, and take them out.
I don't think you're laughing. Like she's laughing, but I think that's a nervous laugh on her part. I don't think he's kidding.
No, I don't think he's kidding at all. I think these guys would. I think and the thing is, I think they believe that it would be right.
Yeah.
I think that they believe that it would be a moral action.
Yeah.
To round up liberals and other obstructionists to their worldview,
and then murder them
and kill them
and murder them.
Yeah.
Somebody said to me the other day, how come is Hollywood so upset with the president? I said, oh, well, let me tell you why. Because in Europe, the EU passed a law to fund the whole film industry of Europe.
I don't know if that's true. That doesn't sound like it's true, but
the EU passed a law to fund the film industry. Why are they always so worked up about Hollywood?
Because it's a message they can't control.
It's just movies.
Yeah, it's just a message they can't control, though.
God.
And they get upset when it's a message that they're not in control, that they're not in control of that narrative.
Do they think movies are that culturally powerful?
I don't think so. I think they do.
Do you?
Well, I'll tell you, culturally, I think they are powerful. I mean, let's just talk about segregation, right? My dad grew up with segregation. My dad was a prejudiced dick even all the way up until he died, right? He was, and I don't want to call it, it's a racist. That's not, prejudice isn't a thing. It's racism, right? My dad was a racist until he died, okay? So, but his culturally, like that's what he saw, right? And that's sort of how he grew up. I'm not saying that's a good way to think.
I know, but
I think it's a shitty way to think. But I think that's the way he grew up, and that's how he saw things, and that's what helped form his lens. That's what helped form how he lived. And I feel like as time goes on, the same thing's happening with, the normalization of what we think, sexuality is, when we think of sexuality as a spectrum rather than just here's your cookie cutter. I don't think that there's many people I'm sure that there are people. I know there are people, but I would imagine the majority of people would not be upset or freaked out by a mixed marriage.
No, but I guess
would not be like, oh
I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
I'm right there with you. I just think that they focus on Hollywood, which is film industry. And I think that the influence of film on culture is waning.
I think so too. But I also think that, if you have a movie with, people that are, a mixed couple or whatever, you are normalizing that. When you have a movie with a guy that's gay, and I'm not saying that's bad, so don't send me your email and be like, fucking normal, what are you saying about that? I fucking clearly don't give a shit who marries who, okay? Right. So don't send me your messages. What I'm saying is that, making sure to include minority couples and things like that in those movies helps make other people see it and see those people as people.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like it opens their eyes to those people as people. You would know, ask all those people who had a gay person come out in their family about how they thought about it before and how they think about it now, and how that changes how everybody thinks. And it's not all the time. Some people get rejected.
Right.
I'm not saying that doesn't happen, but I'm also saying that a lot of people are just like, oh shit, until it was my son, I kind of disliked it, but now it's like,
now it's in my house.
Now it's and now his boyfriend's coming over for dinner, and I just got to deal with it. So I think that there is some normalization there, but I also think that it is that they're mad that there's a narrative that they can't control.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's just what amuses the hell out of me is I just feel like the film industry is losing its power.
I feel the same way.
And so but they're so hung up on
it'd be like saying the demon record industry or whatever.
The CDs. Yeah. You'd be like, really? Yeah. I don't even have anything in my home that plays them. I don't either. What would I do? Like if you gave me a CD, I'd be like, I got to take it out to the car.
Yeah, I do have one in my car still, but I don't have one at the home.
I have a CD player in my car that has the same CD that I bought a used car. It had a CD in it.
Yeah, and it's still there.
It's still the same one in there.
Where would you bring it?
I'm gonna keep the CD in there and sell the car with it. I like the idea of it. Just a great idea. Living inside my home car.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And to support that. And they had put a law on the books in America that if Hillary had got in, the whole of Hollywood would be funded by the Fed.
No, that's not even remotely true.
They put a law. So they preempted the Republican Congress and Senate
put a law
preemptively created a law so that if the Democratic president that came in then created a Hollywood funding bill. That's what you just said out loud was going to happen. You do realize that Obama had essentially obstructionist government for 6 fucking years. When did they make it?
Why would you create a law the trigger for that law going into effect is your political loss. Right? Well, when I lose, we're going to give you this thing we don't want to get. Like, what the fuck?
It's just the dumbest shit I've ever heard. And the worst part is the people here and go, oh my gosh, they were going to make a law.
They were going to make a law to fund all
Hollywood.
the movies by the government.
The government was going to fund all the movies?
And then
what?
What? I'm still not sure why I cared that much about this.
Well, is he going to elaborate?
But, out of our supply, and the taxpayers would have to pay for that. And Trump nixed that the moment he got into office. That's why they hate him.
Shut the fuck up. Yeah, Trump was like, well, I just...
What about my movie funding?
Here's the thing, guys. It's got the wrong name on it. It says Hillary on it. My name's Donald.
So my answer to that is, and then, by the way, their parents brought them in. It wasn't their fault. It's true in some cases, but they aren't all valedictorians. They weren't all brought in by their parents. For everyone who's a valedictorian, there's another 100 out there that they weigh 130 pounds and they've got calves the size of cantaloupes because they're hauling 75 pounds of marijuana across the desert.
So this story is from everywhere, but our source is from CBS News. Now, we're not going to play this clip, but you guys should go listen to, just Google or find it on our show notes.
You find it on our show notes. It's going to be the one Trump calls some illegal immigrants animals.
Clearly the language is meant to dehumanize, right?
Yeah, right.
And clearly one of the problems is that Trump is not careful with his use of language.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So it is open to interpretation based on what he said, whether he was referring to people who commit certain crimes.
Yeah. I think you and I both agree that he's talking about the MS-13 gang.
I feel like from that clip,
if you watch
I feel like what he intended to say was that there are people in the country. Now, whether this is true or not is a problem.
Yeah.
But whether that he's clearly intimating here that there are people in this country who are committing violent, horrific acts, and that those people need to go. They aren't people, they're animals. And the argument about whether or not illegal immigrants are committing in numbers statistically significant enough to be worth talking about acts of extreme violence, the sort of acts that would get you labeled
as an animal.
That is sort of a separate question from what did the president say?
Yeah.
If we're talking about what the president said here, he may be wrong, but I don't think he's saying all illegal immigrants are animals.
Yeah.
That's clearly not what he's suggesting.
I don't think so either. But I think that when you start referring to, that's like saying, well, I'm only going to refer to bad black people as N-words.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right. You're right there.
So
You're
you know
right.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so if you start dehumanizing one group of that population, are you then going to leach and sort of do that to the rest?
Is it easier to otherize people within that marginalized group? I think it is.
And I think the problem is with this statement is that I've seen a lot of people today post this as if he never said anything about the gang. I saw a lot of posts today that sort of just referred to, he's like, he called them animals.
Yeah.
What a big jerky head. And you're just like, but that's not, look, I don't like the guy. I don't like the guy at all. But go watch this clip. Go watch this whole clip. And I don't know how you watch the whole clip or read the entire exchange and think he's talking about anything else.
Right. Yeah, I think it's being reported in a really unfair, untrue way that strips it of the context that renders the comment meaningful.
Yeah.
Whether you like the meaning or not is a separate question we should talk about.
Yeah.
And I think you have a good point. I agree completely with your point. I think like the way that Huffington Post and WAPO framed it rather, is dishonest.
Yeah. Well, I think that they do flesh it out in the Huffington Post article. They do say it was about this.
But you got to get pretty far down in the article.
You do have to get
the headline is misleading.
The headline is, I think, a little misleading. And I think a lot of people are catching the headline and not following through on the article. The articles are, I think, saying that it was in this exchange, but the headlines are things that pop. They're the things that grab, and they're the things that people post. They're the things that people talk about. And when you say he called immigrants animals, that's a much better headline than he called MS-13 animals.
Right.
I think you're right, though. He's not a wordsmith. He's not he can't make a statement, I think, that is direct and exact. No. He is constantly fluffing. He's constantly making the things he does, the most important things. And he even talks in this clip is how he's talking about how, we are getting rid of these people. It's not like They didn't just get rid of these people anyway forever. Right. It's not like we haven't been deporting people forever.
He didn't invent the idea of fucking deporting.
And he didn't invent the idea of deporting criminals. Like, that's been happening forever.
Right.
So it's not like he's doing anything different. They didn't invent the fucking immigrant criminal right before he became president. And they certainly didn't invent the deportation of the immigrant criminal before he became president. Right. The problem is that everything he does, whenever he talks, he'll say things like, he will make the comment about animals because he wants to make it seem like everything he's doing is the most important thing he could possibly be doing at this moment.
The more he speaks, the less clarity he offers.
Absolutely.
Right? Which is a problem.
Absolutely.
But I do think that he is framing the immigration issue as a national public safety issue.
Which is horrible.
And that is a bullshit way
it's a total
to frame immigration.
Absolutely.
Right? He's doing that on purpose. He's focusing on this gang. He's focusing on a small, statistically probably insignificant number of violent actors within a subgroup in order to paint the whole subgroup with that. That's all a real fucking problem.
Yeah.
And he does that in order to motivate people based on their emotional reaction to safety and violence, right? But none of that is new.
Yeah.
None of that is new. What the problem is that if we don't responsibly report, including the headline, which is the most important part of what we report.
Yeah.
Because it's most of what people read. There's kind of this bullshit get out of jail thing that people say. It's like, oh, it's just a headline for clicks. It's just a headline for clicks. Nobody reads the article. Or the truth is in the article. You put a big headline on there for clicks. I know that's what we do. What I'm saying is that's fucked up.
Yeah.
And we shouldn't give dishonesty a pass. Especially if that dishonesty is going to, we shouldn't give dishonesty a pass in journalism no matter what. And that's dishonesty either direct or by omission, right? But we also need to be careful that we don't lose our fucking credibility in this process.
That's the thing is, he's been singing all these songs about fake news forever.
Right.
And
so if we become fake news.
Now you look like it because you're reporting this. I just want people to be more careful. Look, it's okay, I think, to talk about what you said, which is statistically, it's a stupid thing to say. It's okay to say, look, we shouldn't be dehumanizing people because when you dehumanize a group of people, that dehumanization tends to bleed to the entire group.
Right.
These are bad things that you're doing. I think both of those things are valid criticisms that hold a lot of weight. They are both important, valid criticisms that basically refute his statement. So use those. That's how you argue this.
You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
This is from Right Wing Watch. Trump supporter wants Muslim Hibi-Jabis.
Oh my God.
Fired from the TSA. Hibi-Jabis.
What? Okay, so
Hibi-Jabis.
The beginning of this audio is shitty because Trump is jamming his face in his microphone. It gets better as time goes on.
Okay. The women auxiliary. I think the women like me. I don't know. I see.
Yeah, you have to pay them all off. That's why they like you. Everybody in the audience, look under your seat. There's $130,000.
And you get a payoff. But strangely, none of you got an orgasm.
Use that $130,000. Buy yourself a nice orgasm. Buy yourself a nice orgasm.
And if you want to spend some of your money buying yourself an orgasm, you can head over to adamandeve.com. Enter Glory at checkout. Get 50% off almost any item. That's 50% closer to an orgasm than Trump has ever gotten anyone.
A free sex swing and free shipping, Tom. Just go to adamandeve.com. Glory at checkout.
By the way.
Oh, God. Stop yelling at me.
Christ.
Thank you. Yes, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm Kathy Chevalier. I'm legislative chairman for the state of New Hampshire.
Good.
BMW Auxiliary.
You said your name. Good.
I'm glad you're the fucking legislative whatever.
I'm glad you're whatever you said.
I want to tell you, I'm sorry. I would like to tell you. I want to thank you, first of all, for everything you've done for the veterans. We all in the VFW know what you've done.
We all in the VFW, in the Moose Lodge, our pancake breakfasts are whiter than they've ever been.
I will tell you, we have a raffle going on this week. Fish fry on Friday. Come on by.
Spaghetti dinner Wednesday night. You're going to love it.
Did you go to any of those when you were a kid?
Yeah, my dad took me to the fish fries at the VFW. Yeah,
we used to go to the Moose Lodge fish fries when we were kids.
We went to the VFW fish fry occasionally, and we had spaghetti dinner.
And what was the best food at one of those places you've ever had? Like the one thing that you're like, that is a good food. Is there anything that was good, or was
I actually liked the fish fry.
Yeah,
like the fish
is easy to do. That
it's
fried fish.
It's like it doesn't taste like anything but fried and hot.
When I was a kid, my mom and dad used to take us to the Moose Lodge breakfast.
Okay.
And it was one Sunday a month they had the Moose Lodge breakfast. Now the potatoes were Ore-Ida potatoes that they poured out of a bag or whatever.
Yeah,
and the scrambled eggs were made by somebody who doesn't know how to do them, right? But there was a lady who made biscuits and gravy every time.
I love biscuits and gravy.
And I fell in love with that lady. She had the best biscuits and gravy. They were amazing. And it wasn't a difficult recipe. It's actually a really easy recipe. And one of the things about it that I like about it is that it's sort of a quick way to make it, that she made it, but she made it good. It was good every single time. Every single time. And I love biscuits and gravy too. To this day, I love biscuits and gravy. And she made an excellent biscuits and gravy. And that's what I remember from those, I don't know, like fraternal dinners or
right.
Things, you know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
Don't come out and say it, okay? Very much we appreciate it.
And biscuits, by the way, for you UK people, they're not cookies.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
So biscuits here are like a savory scone. So that's kind of what it is. It's
I forgot they don't know
it's
how
like
to
a scone without fruit in it that has salt. So think about it that way. I don't know if you guys have any butter, and they're flaky and good. But scones are really good too. So I know you know what a scone is. It's like a savory scone. So imagine if you had like a cheese scone, maybe sometimes it's something like that.
But just to mix quickly, Homeland Security and jobs. Why aren't we putting our military retirees on that border or in TSA? Get rid of all these Hibi-Jabis they wear at TSA.
Oh, what do you think Trump's thinking right now?
Casual racism. Here we go, folks.
What do you think Trump is thinking right now?
Trump is thinking, I'm going to high five this lady and then I'm going to fuck her.
Yes, I've seen them myself.
I understand.
We need the veterans.
No, he's trying to shut her. He's trying to shut her up.
He's like, uh-oh.
He's like, uh-oh.
They said good.
Something, and then clearly somebody's going to say something about it. They're in New Hampshire.
Oh, my God. That's
unreal.
The Heebeegeebees.
You guys in New Hampshire need to go to the VFW and have your pancake dinner and infest the VFW with your Democratness.
Right. I can't, the thing that makes me crazy about that is like, this is an example where people feel emboldened to be racist.
Absolutely.
Because she's standing in front of the president of the United States uttering this fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
This is like when you got your, like when you get something fucking repaired in your home and the repair guy comes out.
He's like, you're a white guy. I can talk about black people like they're
this is an extension of that.
Richard Spencer.
Right.
Back in there to take it. They've fought for this country and defended it. They'll still do it.
Okay.
Thank you.
And we are looking at that.
We're looking at taking their headscarves away.
We're looking to get rid of the Hibi-Jabis.
And we are looking at that. We're looking at a lot of things. I have to tell you, as long as you bring
you
it up.
You wouldn't believe
though,
what we look at. We look all the time. Every time we walk around the whole time we're awake, eyes open.
I just want to say, all of us, eyes.
Of the border. Some great people, and Al, you know this, I was endorsed by 16,500 Border Patrol agents. These are the people that take care of the border. And first time they've ever endorsed in the history of the union or the group, it's the first time they've ever endorsed a presidential candidate.
Well, I love that he's like the first time in the State of the Union that someone has been endorsed by this
group. It's because you're going to expand their fucking area of responsibility to protect their jobs and ship money into the thing that feeds their family.
So transparent. The only person that doesn't see it is him.
Right. It'd be like
because he's fucking self-centered and shitty.
It'd be like if he was like, I've got this great podcasting initiative.
Yeah.
It'd be like, oh, tell me more.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if they're supposed to be doing it. And they said, we don't even care at this point. It's 16,500 incredible people, Al. These are incredible people that want to do their job. It's easier for them not to do their job, but they want to do their job.
They want to get paid more. They want to make sure that they have job security. If you don't have them do their job, then they just don't have a job. It's not like we're just like, well, we'll just keep 16,000 people on for a low, that don't have to do a lot of work. Well, I'll just have them come in 4 hours a day and still pay them.
Isn't it easier for everybody not to do their job? Isn't it always like if
it
you're
always
like,
is.
Yeah, hey, would it be easier? Wait, unless my job is napping?
Yeah.
What am I, a cat?
And so I was really honored by that. And I was also, as you know, endorsed by Sheriff Joe from Arizona.
Oh, the criminal, the felon?
The guy who had to pardon.
Yeah.
Because he's horrible.
Yeah. Great. Cheer for that, New Hampshire.
Who's had some great victories lately. So Sheriff Joe is great. So we're going to do a job.
Sheriff Joe's great. We love Sheriff
We're
Joe.
going to do a job. Well, it can't be a blowjob because that costs $130,000. That's expensive.
For $130,000, it better be a...
Well, that's because of the fucking United States and inflation. It's because it's like the military when they used to buy toilets for,
right.
$1 million
you just
or
pay.
whatever.
You overpay.
You overpay because it's in the budget. You just want to make sure you spend the budget.
God damn.
So $130,000 every single sex act.
That's everyone?
Everyone.
So if you go around the world, you're like at $390?
Get a handy. There's no way I'm paying over $100 for that. So we want to thank our patrons. Of course, we want to thank all our patrons. We want to thank our most recent patrons, Stuart, Marcus with a K, the Quiznos Demon, Gary. I'm starting my own intellectual dark web with blackjack and hookers. Philip, Kirk, Nolan, Stacy, and Grant. Thanks so much for your generous donations. You guys are the reason that Glory Hole Studios continues to exist, and you may be the reason why I have an income in the next few weeks. We will find out soon. So we got a bunch of emails we want to cover here. The first is a video that was sent to us. This was sent to us by OSV. And they sent us a wallet honesty test. There's 200 wallets dropped all over in different cities and different economic areas of those cities. And Chicago scored really high. Was it the highest?
They returned all of the wallets. They got a perfect score.
A perfect score. Yeah. So interesting that Chicago does very well. They also
bullet holes in all of them.
They also said that, there's blood on them. Religion is not a factor, nor is income, which is very interesting.
Sir, did you drop this corpse?
Yeah. Sir, this wallet came out of the corpse you're carrying. Yeah. So check it out. We'll put the video on this week's show notes. Yeah, it's pretty neat. Bunch of cities did well, though.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
The funny thing is that even the bad cities, I was just like, right. I was shocked like you that so many of these cities wound up giving the wallets back. Like there's so many honest people.
And some people went through great pains to return these wallets. Yeah. So it's pretty cool.
We got a message. This is from Remicali. Am I pronouncing that right, Tom?
Remicali?
Let's
go with Remicali.
Remicali from NASA sent us, they listen to 412, and we specifically asked for NASA workers. They said they work for NASA. And I can tell you that we don't have a single document about the Troubled Times survey of 2016.
It's so surprising that they didn't come up with Branson, Missouri in their research at NASA about what to do for the apocalypse.
Tom, don't believe this. This is deep state stuff.
That's probably,
just totally deep state. We got a message. This is from Matthew, and Matthew says he started our podcast after listening to Citation Needed, and he is working his way back through the back catalog. So we're leaving you a message here, Matt, that you'll find eventually. Good luck.
Hopefully,
to you.
If he doesn't abandon ship. He's 123 episodes in.
So Jeff sent us a message, and like last time, remember when I was talking about the insoles, and I said, it's like having a vasectomy club, and I said, what do you call a vasectomy club? And he says, you call it Vasecta Us, or at least Vasecta We.
I think that's pretty good.
Vasecta We is a great name for a vasectomy group. A couple people sent us messages in talking about the Hunchback of Notre Dame, Tom. We had said that we were surprised that Frollo, the person who's doing that sort of like song that's like burn the girl because I can't get none from her,
right?
Is a priest. And we were wrong. It looks like he's a judge, although in the book,
he's an archdeacon or an archbishop or something, and he's clearly like a heavily religious figure because he talks about like living righteously and like
God, and there's clearly a choir of
So there's a lot of religious motivations around his reasoning. But I was wrong. I want to get that clear. I was just wrong.
It's just, but like it's hard. But again, like all the imagery, especially from that clip, clearly looks like he looked like a cardinal or something to me.
Right.
Like
they dress him in that way. I think it's probably that they just change it for the movie to avoid that controversy, but they keep all the thematic elements the same.
Tom, we got a message from Matt, number one Matt, and he sent this. He says he changed a guy's opinion about abortion when he asked me why I support it. And here's the scenario he could understand, Tom.
He said, imagine your mom is walking home from work. She gets raped. The ultrasound shows the baby has serious defects. It's going to take away all your family resources. You won't be able to go to college. are you going to be able to look at your rape baby brother and love it? Rape baby brother. Do you expect your mom and dad to love it?
Says that. It's like real son, rape son. If you guys all get jerseys, does he have a visiting team jersey? Okay. It's late. I'm sorry.
Do you expect your mom and dad to love it? Abortion, and I thought this line is great. Abortion isn't about sexually uneducated women getting inconvenienced for 20 years by falling pregnant by mistake. You know,
that's a good
there are
line.
so many reasons in favor of abortion, but you know, bottom line is like nobody should have to raise a child they do not want to raise. That child will not benefit from that.
So we got a message. This is from Kay. And Kay sent in and said, look, I'm going to be one of those annoying people that said that want to correct you. There are such things as crisis actors.
Right.
Crisis actors help police in scenarios in which they try to do training and drills. And the scenarios will have them be both victims and criminals. And these people get paid. So I want to sort of change what I said. And I don't remember exactly what I said. I might have said something like, or Tom might have said something like, these people don't exist. Crisis actors don't exist. Right. Crisis actors do exist. But what we said, and what I think you should take from what we said, is that crisis actors, as they're depicted by Alex Jones and all the rest of those crazy people, are not a thing.
Right.
That's not a real thing.
They are not actors paid by the deep state to pretend that they were victimized when nobody was actually victimized, while that story is being reported as a true thing that happened.
So we got a message from a longtime listener, and he wanted me to tell Tom about a dream, and I have a dream I want to tell you about too, Tom. So we're going to do one first.
Sake!
This says,
all right, I'm going to get my shit and go.
Okay, so it says, last night I dreamt an erotic performer, Audrey Batoni, got to look her up later, bookmark that. I traveled back to the 70s to prevent my grandmother's suicide. We were very concerned about her rights as a woman in a more patriarchal time, both legally and socially. For some reason, we bought a house, but the pipes in the basement were leaky, so we built a pool. Also, she was hot. I love that. Here, I want to tell you, Tom, real quickly. Recently, I had this dream.
Oh, my God.
And
are you really doing this?
I'm definitely going to tell you this. I had a dream that Margot Robbie and I, you know who Margot Robbie is?
No.
Margot Robbie is Harlequin from the Suicide Squad. I think she was in Wolf of Wall Street. I had a dream that her and I were in a convertible driving around, and we had to go back to my place, and she needed to take a shower. And she took a shower, and then I walked in the room, and she had a towel around. I was like, oh, I'm sorry, you get some stuff over there. I had a dream that I was platonic friends with Margot Robbie. I am the oldest person I know. We were just platonic friends. Like,
you
totally,
had a dream that a hot chick,
like literally one of the most beautiful women on the earth,
went to your house to take a shower.
That I was hanging out with in a convertible, went to take a shower, and I was I actually apologized when she was in a towel, walked away. Yeah.
I don't even know
me, Tom. I don't even know me.
What has happened over there?
It was the worst. I woke up and I was like, stupid.
You had one chance.
One chance to trick the rest of me.
Oh, buddy.
Old sucks. That's the worst that being old has been to me. That is the worst.
It's just that dream.
The worst. That's the worst. That's the worst that, as you age, bad things happen as you get older. It takes longer to recover. You ank in places you didn't know. My vision started to go bad, but this has been the worst part of it.
I had a dream one time where I thought I was eating a cheeseburger, and I woke up to the sound of my own jaw snapping shut.
Did you break a tooth?
No, but I snapped my jaw shut on an imaginary cheeseburger. That is only a little less disappointing than you not dream fucking this girl. It's a dream. What the fuck?
Oh, gosh. Margot, if you're out there, give me a call. We got a message from
You'd be like the guy in a dream who calls the police on Freddy Krueger. Like, there's a disturbance on Elm Street. Hang on a minute. Get off my lawn, Frederick.
And take your little sweater with you. It's like 75 degrees out there. You don't need a sweater, Freddie.
You're like running out there with a tube of Neosporin for him. You look hurt. You look burned. Are you?
Let me put some gauze on that. So we got a message, and this is from Rizukin. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, but Rizukin sent in a message about The Simpsons, and it's a Snopes article we're going to post on this week's show notes. What's funny about this is that they did predict the presidency in some ways, because in 2000 there was a clip of Lisa saying, what was the budget left from President Trump? But there's like these things going out, these like memes or whatever that show like that, they predicted him coming down a staircase in 2000. They also predicted the map, and none of that is true. Like, so they did technically predict in some ways the presidency by mentioning
They made a
it,
joke about it.
but I think a lot of people made jokes about it. But we just want to put this out there so it doesn't look like we're saying that they did all of these other things. Because I think all Tom said was that they did predict the presidency, which they did. So, but you're right, they didn't. All the other
stuff is not true.
Is not true.
Not true at all.
So we'll post the link to the false on Snopes for this episode. Tom, we got a message from Jordan, and Jordan says that they thanked us for talking about what would happen in Texas if they got rid of abortion. They said they live in the Rio Grande Valley. It's one of the poorest places in the nation. One abortion clinic for about 1.3 million people, and it's actually a little worse if they shut down abortions in Texas. They would have to drive to New Mexico, which is a 12-hour drive. And it's the only place nearby that doesn't have a 24-hour waiting period. You can't go to Mexico and get an abortion outside of Mexico City. And they said the median per capita income there is $14,500. So most people can't even afford it. Yeah, they can't even afford it. So yeah, like if you banned it in a state, especially a large state like that, like so many people would be affected. It would just be so difficult. Yeah. And it's like, the thing is like, I understand because, they banned a lot of guns in Chicago for a very long time, and you could just go right over the border in Indiana and get it.
And buy one,
There's a big difference between traveling to Indiana from Chicago and traveling
to New Mexico
from Rio Grande Valley.
Right.
Yeah. So next week, we're hoping to have a guest on. We'll see how that goes. We won't be sure that there's going to be a guest, but
we're never sure until we hear him on the other end of the line.
We were supposed to have a guest this week. We didn't have a guest. But next week, we're hoping to have a guest on, a different guest. And we hope it's going to be an interesting interview. So check us out next week. That's all the stuff we got for you this week. We hope you check out Citation Needed. We wanted to mention that Citation Needed is having its first live show. The live show is happening on August 11th in Chicago at the Victory Biograph Theater. You can get links to tickets on this episode show notes 415, or you can go to Citation Needed's Facebook. You can find links to tickets. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Oh, I am crazy excited about this. If you are in or around the Chicagoland area, you should go. You should see it, check it out, and have a chance to, see a live taping of Citation Needed. There's tickets available. There's an Eventbrite for it. There's different ticket packages and levels that are available. It's just going to be a lot of fun. We did one live show in Australia in Sydney,
and it was a hoot.
I loved it.
Yeah,
it was just
blast.
such fun.
It was
such fun.
And the thing is that this is going to be a double header, we think, because Citation Needed shows are short. So we're probably going to be recording 2 or 3 shows on stage that night. So it should be a lot of fun. It's going to be a whole night full of recording, and you get a chance to meet the Puzzle in a Thunderstorm guys. You get a chance to meet us, and it should be a great time. So check out if you're interested in tickets. It's going to be in Chicago in August 11th. Check out this week's show notes for the link.
And if you want to get a sense of what a live Citation Needed sounds like, check out the Ned Kelly episode that was recorded live.
So that's going to wrap it up for this week. We're going to leave you like we always do with the Skeptic's Creed.
Credulity is not a virtue. It's fortune cookie cutter, mommy issue, hypno-Babylon bullshit. Couched in scientician, double bubble, toil and trouble, pseudo quasi alternative, acupunctuating, pressurized, stereogram, pyramidal, free energy healing, watered downward spiral, brain deadpan sales pitch, late night info docutainment. Leo Pisces, cancer cures, detox, reflex, foot massage, death in towers, tarot cards, psychic healing, crystal balls, Bigfoot, Yeti, aliens, churches, mosques, and synagogues, temples, dragons, giant worms, Atlantis, dolphins, truthers, birthers, witches, wizards, vaccine nuts, shaman healers, evangelists, conspiracy, doublespeak, stigmata, nonsense. Expose your sides. Thrust your hands, bloody, evidential, conclusive. Doubt even this.
The opinions and information provided on this podcast are intended for entertainment purposes only. All opinions are solely that of Glory Hole Studios, LLC. Cognitive Dissonance makes no representations as to accuracy, completeness, currentness, suitability, or validity of any information, and will not be liable for any errors, damages, or butthurt arising from consumption. All information is provided on an as-is basis. No refunds. Produced in association with the local Dairy Council and viewers like you.